Alright, this is 5 o'clock. Welcome to our city council meeting this evening. Appreciate everybody coming out, being a part of the meeting this evening. This time we'll call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum and we'll declare the meeting open. This time I'm going to ask Councilman Darren Coleman if you'll lead us in the pledge and invocation, please, sir.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Shall we pray? Lord in heaven, I want to thank you. Thank you for your son. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to meet. Lord, I want you to continue to bless and pray for families. I want to pray for the families that are going through this time of grief and pain. I want to pray for this council that we continue to make decisions based off of your mindset. And also, God, I want to thank you for the blessings that you have bestowed upon the citizens of this community, the employees of this community, and most of all, our first responders. I pray that we all leave this place from any harm or danger, and we make it home safe to our families. In your name we do pray. Amen.
All right, thank you, Councilman. All right, everybody have an opportunity to review the minutes from the last meeting of October 5th, 2020.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Council. This time, we'll take any citizen comments. Anybody have anything to address the council about regarding the agenda this evening? Yes, Mr. Tracy.
Peter Tracy, 705 South Valentine. One of the items that's going to come before council this evening is ordinance number 6328, and this brought up a considerable amount of discussion at the planning and zoning meeting with item 9 on their agenda. Basically, the discussion was about whether or not the approval is for actual patio homes or merely just to allow the homes that are going to be built there to meet the lot requirements for patio homes. That's something that the council needs to keep in mind, that this isn't actually for patio homes, but to allow the homes to be built with the restrictions of a patio home. And the other discussion was whether or not the city government needs to come up with some kind of an ordinance that would actually address this type of a matter so that future developments don't have to come forward with a patio home request rather than just meet some variant of an ordinance.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Tracy. Anyone else? Okay. This time we will look at the consent agenda. These items are to be considered routine and be enacted in one motion without discussion unless a council member or a citizen requests a specific item be discussed and voted on separately. The consent agenda includes items E4, E5, E6, G2, G3, G4, and G5. Anybody like any of these separated for any reason?
I'll move for the consent agenda to be approved.
Okay. Motion is second for consent. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent is approved.
Mayor, give us a second, please. Thank you.
All right, this time we'll open public hearing. Okay, we'll read G1 for us, please.
Ordinance 6327, an ordinance of the city council of the city of Sherman, amending section 8, subsection 5A, ordinance number 2280, so to grant a specific use permit to allow a commercial amusement center, the Rec Room, in the C1 retail business district at 700 East Houston Street, being lots 19 through 24, block 10, Patrons First Edition, Los Hermanos Partnership, LLC owners. The Red Room proposed tenant and Charles White applicant, providing for a repealer clause, providing that this specific use permit should be granted subject to certain conditions, providing that penalty not to exceed $2,000, finding the committee in which this ordinance is passed is notice and is open to the public as required by law.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This item is for an SUP in a C1 district for an amusement center. The applicant intends to open up a rec room or a place for people to get out frustrations on objects such as TVs, cars, things like that within the building. The applicant ensured that all safety requirements would be followed. The site would remain free of garbage and debris. Although P&Z approved this unanimously, after the meeting, the applicant came back to our office to see about extending the requirement to provide paved parking for a year. So if you do approve this motion, this item, we'd ask that you add in the motion to limit to 1 year. Tomorrow night's P&Z meeting, the applicant will be coming in for an exception on the parking rule for 1 year.
Okay, so this item we'll have to take it apart separately when the proposed ordinances.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good.
That's it.
Those into your comments? Okay. Is there anyone here to address this item this evening? Okay. Now, Linda, if you'll read D2 first, please.
Ordinance 6328, an ordinance of the city council of the city of Sherman, amending section 8, subsection 5A, ordinance number 2280, so to grant specific use permit to allow patio homes in the R1 one-family residential district at 2700, 2704, 2708, 2712, 2716, 2720, 2724, and 2728 Hillview Lane, being lots 1 through 8, block 3, the final plat of block 2 and block 3, West Canyon Creek Estates, section 3, and 2700, 2703, 2710, 2711, Bondwood Court, being lots 1 through 4, block 4, amended plat of West Canyon Creek Estates, section 3, lots 1 through 5, block 1, and tracts 1 through 5, and Canyon Creek Drive, B Property LLC owners, Lynn Wessels representative, Highland Homes general contractor, and Underwood drafting and surveying surveyor, providing for repealer clause, providing that this specific use permit shall be granted subject to certain conditions, providing a penalty not to exceed $2,000, finding that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Thank you, Linda. Brian?
Yeah, this item is for an SUP for patio homes in an R1 district. The reason for this request is to provide a variance on the side yard setbacks to allow a side entry garage as part of they have a deed restricted community that makes it so that they have to have side entry garages instead of a front facing garage. As the citizen commented earlier, these are not going to be patio homes. These will be estate homes, large lot. And so this is really using the patio home as an administrative tool to apply the whole block in one variance instead of each one individually. Excuse me.
Okay. Thank you, Brian.
I'm sorry, Mayor. P&Z approved this unanimously.
Okay, very good. Is there anyone here to speak on this item this evening? Linda, if you'll read D3 first.
Ordinance 6329, an ordinance of the city council of the city of Sherman, amending section 8, subsection 5A, ordinance number 2280, so as to grant specific use permit to allow a contractor's office warehouse in the C2 General Commercial District, 01, 75 and 82 overlay district, at 310 West US Highway 82, with 1.56 acres in the J.D. McNair survey, abstract number 763. Edgar Wayne McCarley, Trust owners, Allman Roofing and Construction, proposed tenant, Anthony Allman, representative, Kent Hublet, architect, and Toby Wagner, surveying incorporated surveyor. Providing for repealer clause, providing that this specific use permit shall be granted subject to certain conditions, providing a penalty not to exceed $2,000, finding that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Thank you, Linda. Brian?
This item is for an SUP for a contractor's office in a C2 district. As part of being a contractor's office, it's required to go through the SUP process. P&Z voted unanimously to approve this SUP.
Okay. Thank you, Rob. Is there anyone here to address this item this evening? If not, Linda, if you'll read D4 first, please.
Ordinance 6330, an ordinance of the city council of the city of Sherman, in section 12, ordinance number 2280, so as to include certain properties within the C1 retail business district and section 8, subsection 5A, ordinance number 2280, so as to grant specific use permit to allow a travel trailer park, Ferguson RV Park, in the C1 retail business district at 3551 East US Highway 82, in 10.586 acres in the Samuel Hill McLaughlin survey, abstract number 811. Sherman Church of God, aka Pathway Church of God owners, Wendy Ferguson, prospective buyer, Ferguson RV Park, proposed tenant, Ron D. Beard and Associates Architect, and North Texas Surveying LLC surveyor. providing for repealer, providing that this specific use permit shall be granted subject to certain conditions, providing a penalty not to exceed $2,000, finding that the meaning at which this ordinance is passed is notice and open to the public as required by law.
Thank you, Linda. Rob?
This item is for zone change. Two things: a zone change from R1 to C1 at the northwest corner of 82 and Skaggs, and also an SUP for a travel trailer park. This item was unanimously approved by P&Z at the last meeting.
Thank you, Rob. Is there anyone here to address this item this evening? All right. Linda, if you will read D5 numbers, please.
Ordinance 6331, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman, amending Chapter 9 of the Code of Ordinances entitled Personnel, Article 9.05 entitled Civil Services of Firefighters and Police Officers, and Section 9.05.026 entitled Authorized Number of Positions, to revise the number of authorized positions in the police department, providing for inclusion in the Code of Ordinances, providing for severability, providing for repealing, finding that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is notice and is open to the public as required by law.
Thank you, Linda. Good evening, Chief.
Mayor, council, how are y'all? So this ordinance change will allow us to reduce by one sergeant and add one lieutenant. Make these staffing changes, we have to come for the council to do so. This is part of some restructuring that is in conjunction with the police department assuming responsibility for animal services. When we started that process of looking at that, we noticed that the support services side of our house could be better structured. And especially as it relates to bringing on more personnel and responsibilities. And so this will provide us opportunity to be able to provide animal services with the support structure that it needs, and it will provide us with the structure to maintain accountability. And the mission will stay the same for animal services. We're going to maintain the quality of service that we do, and at the same time, it'll save us just under $10,000 just in this simple restructure.
Is there anyone here to address this item this evening? Linda, if you read D6 for us, please.
Ordinance 6332, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Sherman providing for permanent stop signs on Quail Run Road at Swift Drive, on Swift Drive at Quail Run Road, on Blackbird Drive at Quail Run Road, on Blackbird Drive at Cormorant Drive, on Quail Run Road at Cormorant Drive, on Cormorant Drive at Quail Run Road, on Quail Run Road at Blue Jay Lane, on Blue Jay Lane at Quail Run Road, on Swan Ridge Drive at Quail Run Road, on Osprey Drive at Oriole Drive, on Gamble Drive at Quail Run Road, on Cardinal Drive at Swan Ridge Drive, on Falcon Drive at Swan Ridge Drive, on Hawk Lane at Swan Ridge Drive, on Raven Drive at Swan Ridge Drive, on Raven Drive at Pheasant Drive, on Snowbird Lane at Mallard Drive, on Falcon Drive at Mallard Drive, on Songbird Lane at Quail Run Road, on Pelican Drive at Quail Run Road, on Saratoga Drive at Quail Run Road, on Delmar Drive at Quail Run Road, within the city limits of the City of Sherman, Texas, providing for amenity provision, providing for severability, providing for repealer, finding the meeting in which this ordinance is passed is notice and is open to the public as required by law.
Right,
Wow.
Nicely done.
Oh my God.
Police are gonna be busy watching.
Come up with some air. That's good.
All right.
Good evening, Linda.
Good evening, Linda, did a great job.
Good. Excellent.
The ordinance for a few stop signs in the new Quail Run subdivision. These stop signs were part of the subdivision plans to put in stop signs, at least one at T intersections, at least two at cross intersections. Engineering did review these, make sure that they were consistent, especially with new subdivisions, which is very typical nowadays, and recommend approval.
All right, is there anyone here to speak about this item this evening? No, at this time we'll close public hearing and consider the adoption of ordinances. Council, questions, comments? You want to hear the stop sign list again from Linda?
Yeah.
I have a question about 6328 as far as, first of all, deed restrictions bump up against zoning ordinance. Does one of those have precedent? Obviously, since we're changing the zoning, I would say the deed restrictions have precedent over.
That's correct. In this case, the deed restrictions have precedence over it.
And then it seems like we're doing a lot of these. Is it perhaps time to update our R1 wording? I mean, is the date of 60-foot lot just gone now?
I've recently looked at some similar cities to ours and some comparable cities south of us, and there are more R1 districts. There's different lot widths that they have, but generally the R1 district is still about 60 feet for lot widths.
And back to Mr. Tracy's concerns, why would it have to be considered patio homes? Because after listening to the P&Z meeting, what I understood was it kind of left it open-ended. If someone decided to build patio homes, they would be able to do that.
In this situation, they would be able to do that. I don't think the home builder or the developer desires that, but
we don't think that.
Based on their subdivision, the way that it was subdivided, the lots are 80-foot lots. But if they wanted to in the future, they could subdivide it more and have patio homes.
So we would have to, if we were to pass this, we would have to put it in there contingent on the particular builder that's there now to keep it from being done. If we're going to assume that someone's going to build just because of this garage area.
If it's an SUV.
Yeah. Am I wrong?
I think you're welcome. That might be a legal question, but welcome to tie the motion to the applicant themselves.
Councilmember, yeah, I think that's right. Either since this is an SUP, it can be granted to the applicant individually as opposed to zoning, which runs with the land and is not applicant specific. So you could either make as part of your motion that SUP specific to the applicant, or you could put a condition in that SUP that says there could not be any further subdivision of the lots, so that you would not have a situation like what was described where, if it's already been platted, and the lots are 80 feet, they could not be further subdivided into smaller lots. That's another way to do it. Or you could do both. Or there may be other options as well.
And that might be a reason why we would look at changing the wording of our ordinances and not have that word or those words patio homes. Would you not think that would be correct?
Yes, I think having more examples or more categories of residential might be something to look at to solve for this issue, so you wouldn't have to do an SUP, for example, in this particular situation.
So we wouldn't have to continue to use the euphemism patio home or 50-foot lot.
That could be one solution, yes. That would have to be through a zoning ordinance amendment that would go through the normal process, P&Z council, but that is one way to address it.
We could look at that in the future. I would appreciate it.
I think this is a classic example of what we're talking about, because those lots have been there for years now.
Several years now, yeah.
And at that size, the numbers may just not work, and so developers decided that a smaller lot would work. So then the developer was forced to go through the whole process of going to the patio home. We have that designation. I think it would be so I mean, I agree with the points there, and I think that's something that we should review at some point. Because it does seem like we're approving this patio home side lot more often.
I have a question on another agenda item. On 6327, I didn't bring my laptop with me, but if I remember correctly, in reading about this amusement center, they would be allowed to have wrecking or destruction of larger items like cars, trucks, whatever, outside. It did? Didn't it say outside?
No. there was no indication for us that they would be doing any of it outside. It would
Okay, then I misunderstood what I was reading, and that's why I want to clarify, because I don't want anything like that done outside. So,
In fact, he said it would be indoors. There is gonna be a car, and you hear, there is gonna be a car there, but indoors only, correct?
Yep.
Correct.
okay,
We have a sea-doo, we have a car, all the glass has been removed, all the oil, batteries, things like
yeah.
that. Basically, it's a shell on tires for people to bang on. But everything else is mostly gonna be household items, toasters, blenders, there's a refrigerator, and everything is handheld, baseball bat, crowbar, mallets, things like that.
Yeah, and I saw where you had arranged for disposal of it by one of your neighbors in that area, that somebody else is going to,
Well, we have a roll-off
Yeah.
that's gonna be there, and it's gonna be dumped once a week,
right,
and so everything will be put into the roll-off and then carried
and
out.
be taken care of, so, okay, then that takes away my biggest concern, because we have a big problem with that part of town with things being, not looking its best.
Absolutely.
And so I want to make sure that that doesn't end up being outside. So thank you very much for answering that.
Anyway, just say that. My understanding also is if you had more trash that needed to be carried off more than once a week, you have already made arrangements with our sanitation department for that to happen.
Correct, I have worked with them on several different items, so we know, in fact, including any of the bigger objects, Ellis Auto is the one that's gonna be bringing in and taking out specifically contract for vehicles, so that every vehicle I bring in, or swap them out, will fit the needs I need.
And you talked to them about the paving, about the surface for your parking,
We have.
and that's where we need to give an allowance for 1 year for that to be taken care of. And you're leasing right now, but you're looking at the option of buying after the year.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, council, any other questions? So we've got a couple to vote on separately. So do we have a motion on D1?
I'll make a motion for 6327.
Okay.
To include a 12-month.
Oh,
Yeah.
to include a 12-month.
Thank you.
Yes,
Second.
yes.
So do
The
we have a
parking.
second? All in favor? Any opposed?
Yeah.
Motion carries, thank you. Did somebody want to make a motion for, the 6328, tying that back to?
I make that motion, Mayor. I approve the ordinance 6328 with it tied to the current owner.
Did we do that right?
Applicant, I'm
The
sorry.
current applicant.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, to the current applicant, okay. Second. Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, thank you, council. All right, so that leaves us 6329, 6330, 6331, and 6352.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve 6329, 6330, 6331, and 6332 as written.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, thank you. Thank you, council. All right, we're to resolution 66, proposed resolution 64. Linda, you read that for us, please.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Sherman authorizing the execution of an agreement with Public Improvement District, PID, consulting and administrative services with Unicap Incorporated. Finding that the meeting at which this resolution is passed is noticed and held in the public as required by law.
Thank you, Linda. Robbie?
Yes, Mayor, this agenda item relates to the appointment of our proposal to agree to this consulting agreement with Unicap. 2 or 3 months ago, we started internally the evaluation of firms that could help us in these consulting and administrative services as it related to the Bel Air project on the south end of town within TERS 7. Our goal was to assess as many firms as we thought might be able to meet our needs, and then evaluate those firms and then how those firms fit within our particular needs for this plan development. We looked at 3 we looked at 3 firms whose name kept coming up over and over in terms of their participation in these types of projects in North Texas and in Texas in general. And then 2 firms kind of rose to the top, Municap and another firm, P3 Works. We evaluated both firms. We had multiple discussions with both firms, met with them face to face on more than one occasion. So really felt like we got a good representation of who the firms were and the types and the extent of services that they provided. So with this, we're proposing that we would authorize this agreement with Municap for providing these services for this particular development. In the future, we'll evaluate each development on a case-by-case basis and bring them back to compete. They don't mind competing head-to-head. I'm sure each firm feels like that they're the best firm for the job, but we'll let developers and the city both kind of have input into that process. But for this particular one, we're recommending that Municap be the one appointed based on our evaluation and the conversations we had with the developer and Municap. Municap has many years of experience and dozens, I think, in Texas, nearly 100 different projects that they have helped manage and consult on. So they come with a long list of credentials. Devin Whitlock is here if you guys have any questions about that. But we felt good about recommending them. And just one other quick note that kind of distinguished Municap, at least in this case, is the cost for this project or for this consulting services are paid through the Public Improvement District, not through the city of Sherman. And so the cost will be paid when the services are incurred and funds are available through the creation of the PID. So only to the extent that the PID is generating enough dollars to pay for those services would those be paid out, and none of it on the back of the city.
Just to be clear, we haven't had anybody actually apply.
Correct. Yep. This would really, this is kind of the first step of several that would be coming over the next few council meetings for council consideration. We would expect the Public Improvement District language possibly to be baked into development agreements and other documents that will be coming to the council soon.
Questions, comments?
I'll move to approve Resolution 6664.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries, thank you. Linda, if you will read the for us, please.
Resolution 6665, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Sherman authorizing the execution of an economic development program agreement with Highland Homes Towers LLC to grant incentives pursuant to Chapter 380 of the Texas Local Government Code. Finding the meeting at which this resolution is passed, is notice and is open to the public as required by law.
Thank you, Linda. Good evening, Mary.
This 380 agreement with Highland Homes is essentially the same as the one the council approved in January with Riverside. Highland Homes will be developing about 133 lots in the preserved subdivision. So home builders typically pay sales tax to suppliers at the location where they buy the supplies. These big home builders have big suppliers in Fort Worth, not around here. However, the home builder is allowed to self-assess and pay a use tax instead. So this redirects the tax to where the homes are actually being built. Highland estimates that about $152,000 in new local tax revenue will be generated by the use tax on the supplies, and this agreement gives Highland about 60% or 40% of the 2% rate to them, which would be about $60,000, with the city retaining about $92,000. There's no risk to the city if they don't ever pay any use tax. There's nothing owed under the agreement.
Council, any questions on this item?
So moved.
Second. Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, thank you. All right, Linda, you'll read E3 for us, please.
Resolution 6666, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Sherman authorizing the execution of a real estate sales contract and the acceptance of a special warranty deed from the Sherman Economic Development Corporation for the conveyance of a 10.000 acre tract of land in the Elizabeth Jones Survey, abstract number 625, City of Sherman, Grayson County, Texas, CAD property ID number 125123, and generally located at the southwest corner of West Travis Street and North Gate Drive, City of Sherman, Grayson County, Texas, as described on Exhibit A attached hereto land, together with improvements to the land improvements. Finding the meaning at which this resolution is passed is noticed and is open to the public as required by law.
Mayor, council again. So at the budget workshop earlier in the year, we were directed to record with the police department, police headquarters, and essentially get it to the point where we're ready to make a decision whether or not we want to build, but we're able to better assess that. So this resolution is again for 10 acres at the corner of West Travis Street and North Gate Drive. With the construction of West Travis Street, construction of portion 17 and Highway 75, it's going to give us many arteries to get where we need to be throughout the city. And not to mention that our officers are out and about anyway. Every minute of the day, they're not at the station. So they're spread throughout the city, so the location is not directly correlated to the level of service that any section of the city will receive. But it is adaptable for us and the traffic that we'll be through. So with that, I wanted to also give you a brief update, which will parlay into the next topic. So the city manager and I have discussed making sure that we communicate thoroughly with the council on this project. And so I wanted to give you a brief overview of the timeline. Throughout the rest of this calendar year, October through December, we'll be working on this piece, the land acquisition, that SEDCO approved at their last board meeting. We'll also be working to initiate construction manager at risk component of this, hopefully to bring them on board in January so that we can better articulate the cost, better estimate that cost when we come back to you around budget time this next year. So it is not a means to start construction, but it is an attempt to better define what those costs are going to be. And so we'll do that throughout the end of this calendar year. And then bring in the first part of next year, we'll be working with our architect and the construction manager at risk, hopefully. We'll put that together and come to you in March with a presentation to allow you to make a decision on whether or not we'll move forward with final design and possibly construction. To put that back into your hands, so that you're equipped with all the information that you need to make an educated decision. And again, I think that we'll be ready to do that if we follow this timeline with bringing presentations to you throughout. I think you'd be looking at a presentation in December, again, probably January, February, and also March. So there will be multiple times throughout this process that you'll be seeing myself or our architect to make sure that you're aware of the step. We understand that this is a big ask, and we've been in the current police headquarters since the 60s, so we anticipate this building will last a long time, so we need to get it right. We want to make sure that we get good with it.
Hey, Mayor, let me also add a couple of things here as well. One on E3. So Zach just covered items E3 and F1. E3 being the approval for purchase of the real estate, F1 being the request to advertise for the CM at risk. So the dollars are available in the budget for the purchase of the land. It's part of what we presented to you back in the budget workshop timeframe, where we were going to be focused on, as Zach has described, the acquisition of the site and the architectural design. So dollars are available there. And secondly, there will be. So we've had this meeting. We talked about it at the past budget workshop. We had this meeting where we're talking about the purchase of the land. We'll come back in December to give you some time to input on the areas of functionality that we propose to build into the design. First part of the year, we'll come back again with taking your input and staff input, architectural design input, and have you give other input in March for finally coming back in the summertime. So by the time we're all said and done here, just on the design piece, you will have seen this at part of 3 or 4 or 5 different meetings. So, what we've instructed staff to do is nearly over communicate on this item. This is a generational type of item. We're only going to do this once in our lifetimes, presumably. And so we want to make sure to get it right. We want to give the council opportunity to have input into this item. And then our decisions in the summertime and budget workshop then will be, okay, now that we've got the design done and we're ready to roll, the timing of the actual construction. We're not ready to talk about that yet, but what we hope to have is the site and shovel-ready plans that we can pull the trigger on that whenever you guys give us that direction, which will be this coming summer. So that was it.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve resolution 6666 and item F1.
Okay.
Second that.
So second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thank you, council. All right. This time we'll receive an update on the city of Sherman's ongoing projects. Good evening, Nate. Mayor.
I'm in the wrong one.
You want to go over this?
No. You thought I might be sick.
This is the right video.
This is not the right video?
No, it's the October update of 2.
So tell a joke, Nate. Oh, wait, never mind. No, please don't tell a joke.
Stop signs, Mike. Back in stop signs.
You're really trying to get me in trouble now. All right. The first video we'll see is actually shot this morning. I decided to tack it on here when everything started getting crazy in downtown Sherman since it's taking about 8:30 in the morning. It's self-explanatory. It shows some of the damage to the old district building. Some of our very fine firefighting equipment and use that were out of control. You got anything you want to say about this, Danny? It's out.
Danny, were there any injuries, firefighters or others in this?
No injuries. We're still trying to determine the cause. We've got investigators who went around. They'll be working until probably about till the parade starts, and then they'll pull out. We estimate about 25% of the first and second floor back part of the building is pretty extensive fire damage. It wasn't occupied. There was nobody inside. It was secured on our arrival. We don't suspect anything.
Okay. Okay.
This is video number 2 this morning. It's flying off of Gallagher, so we're looking to the north and west. This is our possible facility that will become more over the course of the next 6 months or so. We are investing so much public money that we're just going to do one last walk by, look at it, and we'll have something to look back on and compare it to as North really gets going in the next couple months. There's a considerable amount of asbestos inside that structure, and then this area over here is the area that we're thinking for commercial development, and the rest of it is thought for multi-family development. So we just kind of wanted to give you a before picture so that we can show the after as we move on here. All right, this is Lake Street right over here. We're flying toward the Sherman Municipal Airport, very low and out on the flight path. And this is the work that Mary's been doing to get this area cleared off and ready for the hangar home development.
front side for obvious reasons, but you can see over here, this is where the hangar development is starting. All three hangars there will go on that side and that right there. So it's exciting to see some movement on that. I always take you into consideration.
I know.
Alright, so this is Brookstone, which is all done except for the solid work and some finishing work here and there. We'll do one last look at that. 85 homes, 90 somewhere there. All built out, all of them sold, leased up, and then 48 new units on Brookstone, this building, this building. Those have all been finished since our last update, so we are working at that building. And then over here, where no one will ever have an accident because all the stop signs, this is wild. And they have all but 13 of their 100 lots are sold, so they are pulling them as quickly as they can sell them. And then here we've got the preserve, which was up the streets last time we saw. We're starting to see some vertical development there. I believe 44 lots, something like that there.
Highland Homes.
And then Riverside, something like that. Someone with a river.
Riverside.
Riverside. They're building all these hospitals here. So all told, we got about 350 houses in all the development through that very short little east-west flight. South Sherman.
Most of those, the patio homes, lot preserve and the outlets.
Preserve are 60. Here is West Travis Street. It is, all intents and purposes, pretty close to done. You'll see the water truck here, water and saw in a second. We are probably going to have a ribbon cutting for this sometime, obviously avoiding Thanksgiving, but sometime in the next month to finally open that road up to traffic. Sidewalks, I understand that they were added in at the wood portion of the project there. The project came in and right over there with the sidewalk.
All right, that's good.
Several miles on the sidewalk. Yeah, you can see several pretty large drainage structures. Once you open, you can drive around and see some of the terrain you have to get through. But notice lots of power lines. That's the gas line there. And continues on this area. So lots of utilities headed east, back towards 75. Right over here is where we have both sides of the route tonight. One benefit of this area is adjacent to Sedgwick property. So as we get the civil design done and we get the dirt around, we're able to take some of that dirt and just hundreds of feet at sites versus having to get rid of the dirt at different locations. We all are the proud owners of this piece of property as of minutes ago. There's the property line that now where that one was. About the fire station starts. You can go out there, or you go out there, it's very much built up right now. There's not a lot of dirt there, and there is a construction process. So this whole hill is much higher than around it. My understanding is that there will be a portion across the entire property whenever that project is finished. It will not be a shiny police station. This is Sherman High School. We will have a lot to say on this one. Pictures kind of speak for themselves. But especially the capital progress. Last update of 5 months ago. Courtyard course. Right. See the pad over here. Actually, the process is looking a lot higher. That's all the way around. That's
Look at those baseball. Look at the baseball and softball fields and the oh, what are they calling that? The JV field now, or the what? Yeah, looks very nice.
This is looking south down 1417. Here's a Walmart over here. We just wanted to show you this. It's not very long detail. But it's kind of right in the middle of what's called the most difficult part of this relocation project. Not a lot of room to work there. Where the power lines are right at the edge of but that relocation will be done all the way down. Slide in on on paper, it was easy. Yeah. Get out there, very.
So they're gonna cut Leonard, or are they gonna put him more?
Yeah.
So we are further south on the same stretch of road, heading towards the brand new St. Bridge. If you hold this clip back to the beginning real quick.
Just to this section.
So this will be the next Wild Homes project. We'll see a lot of it going on in the next couple of months. This will be over the planning, which we're still on 5 years, something like that. But back here, for your next set of 140 houses or so, next year, so long ago. Go ahead, Junior, thank you. Of course, you'll remember that they are lowering the bridge as a portion of this project. Railroad tracks no longer needed. Unfortunately, they didn't quite part of the other side. Most out traffic. There's a big drop off from where it is now, left side there. So they will finish these lanes all the way in, and then they'll traffic over that side. At the second half. So all these driveways will, and this, you don't recognize it, traffic, nothing else, is the 7582 interchange, about 1 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. They are moving forward with this portion of the project, it's right here, you can see better on the other side. Piers are going in, the piers will have a turn lane here, to allow people to come, off of 82 to take a turn without looking at the project is wide, all of
we will have, of course, two lanes of traffic going this way and two lanes of traffic going this way. These lanes will go away as the front will be more or less stay where it is. So they'll be able to use the area and the hallway. And of course, the most dramatic part of this project here is showing up all this side area here that will be long. Very short on-ramp area. Original goal was January, how the high school open up. Looks like it's close. I don't think we'll try to go spring.
You think the high school is still on?
Yes. So across the highways here, that's the golf course. Considerable, these two bridges that both those creeks will be elevated, probably about 10 feet to get out of the floodplain. The west front, the elevated bridges and the, service road, so it's drainage, it'll be on the service road, but, this will definitely add in. We're taking out the hill that ice is over, and taking up the bridge that floods, so actually, taking that over.
So, where the old nursing home used to be, the grade set up these 15, 20 feet, is that gonna be more or less the elevation of the highway through there? Or they just, I don't know if you noticed that, but that is.
The highway might be will be actually a little bit higher. Part of the elevation of the highway is driven by floodplain. Part of it.
The nursing home is further back this way.
Yeah, we just passed it there on Chapel of Care was there too. Yeah.
What is this mountain going in over here?
This is not major, this is, we had someplace put in dirt, so, local landowner was very generous, providing his land to do that, and, they were raising up out of the floodplain, so it's a nice, pretty little there someday, so that's a good thing. He did go through the procedures of ours, hiring an engineer, getting it analyzed, going through FEMA, getting approved with the city. So he's doing it the proper way. And it's really a win-win. And otherwise, we're going to go a very large one. And then, of course, our going on paving over here, you notice, that's where the highway traffic will go off the side. And they're on all this.
Thank you, that was a nice one.
We'll have.
Remember when there was never anything being constructed, and we didn't get these, and it's kind of exciting that there's so much.
Okay, so we are to the beginning of our homecoming parade. Do we have any media questions tonight? All right, so council, we need to. Disappoint, remove, and consider qualifications of boards and commission. Main Street Advisory Council.
Okay.
I move to reapprove the two applicants and seek to, stay on the, is this the one we have for two people?
This one is.
Okay, and also move to appoint Sarah Rich.
Perfect. Okay, motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, thank you. All right, council comments for the camera service.
None.
I'm good.
That's our band sound one.
That sounds great. Thank you firefighters for putting out the fire today, y'all did great. Okay, we do have some announcements. Sherman High School homecoming parade. Hear it for yourself. Main Street will have their annual vision meeting October 26th. 7, municipal ballroom across the street from John Judy downtown Sherman. This will be at 6 p.m. Halloween season, Thursday, October 29th, trick or treat on Travis. October 30th, Caravan to Candyland. Finally tonight, Veterans Day Parade. Be sure to come out for that. That's a great event. Saturday, November 7th. Watch for that. Your event is
Saturday,
this coming Saturday. So what are the hours?
9 to 1.
9 to 1. So birthday.
Give me a quick.
Yes, hurry. Yes, hurry.
Okay, I'm Amy Hoffman Sheehan. We have a recycling event coming up, this Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Sherman Police will be there to take back, your unused medications, whether they're prescriptions or over-the-counter or pet medications. They do not take liquids or inhalers. We will have a paper shredding event. It's sponsored by Douglas Distributing. It's for individuals. Bring any of your documents that need to be shredded securely. Because of restrictions with COVID, we can't let you stay and watch it be shredded. You just have to have trust that it will happen. And then Choctaw Nation is going to include a container for the flattened cardboard, any kind of paper, plastics 1, 2, and 5. They take styrofoam, ink and toner cartridges, and cell phones. We have a very large electronic waste collection, and that is open to businesses as well as individuals. So any kind of television, any kind of monitor, it can be medical equipment, it can be appliances. If you have large appliances, Freon needs to be drained from air conditioners and refrigerators, but anything you can bring and unload, and also businesses can bring things. And then we have a glass recycler that will take bottles and jars of any color, no broken glass, no plate glass, no cookware or bakeware, but any kind of bottle or jar. And businesses can also bring glass to the container. It's going to be a 20-foot roll-out container. And we're going to use your parking lot on the south side of the building. The containers for Choctaw Nation and the glass recycling are going to be delivered Friday morning, and they'll stay there till Monday morning. So you're not restricted to the hours for using those 2 containers during that time period. But the rest of it will be 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
All right, got it. Thank you, Amy. Okay, what? All right.
I just wanted to thank the Sherman Youth Sports. They honored Fred Douglas, their 55th year of state championship. They've honored them all this year. They gave out some really nice awards this Saturday. So
good, very good. All right. So at this time, the City Council will now hold a closed executive session pursuant to the Texas Open Meetings Act and Section 551.071 to consult with the city attorney concerning pending or contemplated litigation on a matter in which the city attorney's duty under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with this chapter. And Section 551.074 to deliberate personnel matters and consider appointments to the SEDCO board, and in Section 551.087 to deliberate regarding economic development negotiations. So at 5:58, we will recess into.
We'll stay in here.
Session. Thank you.
And Mayor, we'll stay in here for that, by the way.